One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back. Have you ever listened to Bruno Mars?
Out of a sloth.
That you got from Electric Fish Lights?
Shit.
I have.
We have. Electric Fish Lights is a sponsor of No Simple Road, and I have to say they have created a universe all their own.
Yes, they have. And it is a fun, whimsical, fantastical, wonderful world. It is my new best friend. We got a beautiful package from Electric Fish Lights, and I got sent a wonderful sloth made out of
It's so
IQ technology.
right, and what that stands for is interlocking quadrilateral, and it's a system of 30 interlocking pieces that could be configured into 15 different shapes, and then you take those shapes and you put them together, and it's pretty much endless the way it goes together. And this plastic that these IQ pieces are made of is made from upcycled vinyl from old milk jugs and stuff like that.
That's what I was going to say. That sloth is made from recycled materials, and he's got a color-changing light that lights up his belly, and he can sing Bruno Mars. And he's I take him everywhere. I've been carrying him around the house. He's so cute. He adds so much whimsy to a room. So
you design it, they build it, you choose your shape, size, and colors, and all the lamps come fully assembled and are ready to be plugged in when they arrive. They have a 12-foot cord, a 12-year energy-efficient, safe-to-leave-on LED bulb, and a hardware kit to hang your light, so you will get left hanging. Literally.
Absolutely. That fish is hanging right now.
Yep. And No Simple Road family, you're getting 10% off when you put in the promo code NSR at checkout. And any NSR family that orders a light with the color changing upgrade will receive a limited edition special promotional No Simple Road poster.
Which we have hanging in our studio.
Yes, we do.
That we are in our studio right now. So go to electricfishlights.com or at electricfishlights on Instagram and check out all of these shapes, sizes, colors. Like I said, tell them what you want. They'll build it. I saw one today that was Hedwig, the owl from Harry Potter.
That was awesome.
He can make anything. And they also have the bulbs that have the speaker in them, like Mel's sloth. So you really can listen to fish out of a fish that you got from Electric Fish Lights. So,
which is amazing.
electricfishlights.com, at Electric Fish Lights on Instagram, and enlighten yourself. There's a lot of sponsors that we could take on No Simple Road. And
Yes, there are.
I got to be honest with everybody out there. There are some that we say no to, man. And the reason that we take the sponsors that we take is because we believe in the mission of those companies and want to support them and have
Believe in
them
the
support
products.
us. That energy, that
use the
reciprocal
product.
energy is important to us. And Sunset Lake is one of those companies that came into our world and literally changed my life for the better. And I don't know how else to get that across to you guys out there other than to say this stuff is a game changer. If you're one of those people that suffers from anxiety or gets paranoid when they smoke the super-powered mega weed that's out there today, this stuff will change the game for you. If you're missing smoking or eating edibles, this is the stuff that will change that for the better for you.
We just met someone
brought Aaron
today.
back in the game.
Yes, it did. And we just met somebody today who, because of our ad, wanted to try Sunset Lake. So we are excited to hear the report from their testimony.
So they have you covered. If you don't want to smoke, they have their gummies, they have
Delicious.
tinctures. They even have CBD infused dark roast Peruvian coffee that is one of the most delicious things I've ever tasted in my life. And then I get this weird, like, it looks like a burn on my wrist from wearing my Fitbit too much. And they have this salve that's infused with organic beeswax and arnica. And I put that on there and it's gone in like 2 days when that happens.
I'm going to say another personal testimony about that CBD solve because I injured myself at work. I hit my the pad of my thumb and I used it 2 nights in a row and it's gone. And it was hurting me for over a week.
Whoa.
I haven't truly, and this just happened over the last couple nights. So CBD, Sunset Lake CBD, you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
You're putting out quality, effective products that we are proud to sponsor.
Yeah, you guys, I mean,
proud to be sponsored by.
if you're one of those people that's tried other CBD and you're like, yeah, whatever, it didn't really do anything. This is not that. I don't know. I really want to stress that.
I've tried a lot of different CBD products being in the industry, and this is something different, special.
And this is keeping it in the family too, man. This is a farm that's out of Alberg, Vermont, just outside of Burlington. And this farm was like originally a farm that had milk cows that were making milk for Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And back in 2018, they decided to diversify and start growing hemp for CBD. And they do stuff with collaborations at the University of Vermont to implement regenerative agricultural practices such as cover cropping, crop rotation, and that keeps the soil healthy, and that keeps the plants healthy, and that keeps the earth healthy, and then their product keeps us healthy. So the hemp is 100% pesticide free, and they only use organic fertilizer. Plus, when you get an order from them, because I just ordered some and got it in the mail, when your order comes, you get the test results for that
Batch.
product or whatever you got. So they are also paying all their employees $15 an hour. So they're taking care of the people that are taking care of us. And they're giving away 4.2% of their sales to the Drug Policy Alliance in hopes of furthering police and prison reform as it relates to drugs. And they're giving the No Simple Road family 15% off. If you put in the
15%.
promo code NSR15, you will get 15% off your whole order from Sunset Lake CBD. So go check out sunsetlakecbd.com or at Sunset Lake Farm on Instagram. And man, listen, this is the real deal. Take care of your body. No Simple Road is a proud member of Osiris Media. And if you are just a listener of No Simple Road and you haven't checked out all the podcasts on Osiris, you're missing out, man. Like, Comes a Time is out now, and that's our friend Mike Fenoya and our brother Oteil Burbridge. And their 7th episode is out with Mickey Hart. I mean, who doesn't want to listen to an interview with Oteil, a comedian, Mike Fenoya, and Mickey Hart? Come on, that's good stuff right there. Wow, there's so many. Politics of Truth with Ben Jacobs is out. We got Past, Present, Future Live with Shannon LaBrie. We got Phil Lesh and Shannon LaBrie exclusive tracks. We got Phil Lesh on Eric Krasno +1. They're going through Dick's Picks Volume 13 on 36 from the Vault. And then on Godween Evan Season 2, Episode 8, Fancy Locks and Cocks and Rocks. Stay inside, stay inside. Come on, man. I mean, that was just a very small sampling of what's going on Osiris Media. You guys, if you're stuck in the house like the rest of us, and most of us are right now, and you're looking for something to do, here it is. Your woes are over. So go check out all the podcasts on Osiris Media.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongSummerCamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
No simple road. 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 No simple road.
Man, I gotta go get
What are you
pizza.
giggling
Oh.
about? You're not getting pizza. We're getting ready to record a show right now, man.
Oh, yeah, we are recording
Hi,
a show
Mel.
right now.
Hey,
Hey now, No Simple Road family. How's everybody doing out there? We're back.
fantastico.
Magical. How you doing, Apple?
Splendiferous.
Whoa. All right. Far out. Hey, guess what, you guys? This week's guest is...
Scott Metzger.
Oh, man. Okay. JRAD is a very special thing.
Wait a minute. Are you guys noticing? I'm talking to the listeners out there, the great entertainment that we've been pumping out lately. Because I just want you to know that we have had some
Honk,
really
honk.
high quality,
That was
awesome
Mel
guests.
tooting our horn.
Yeah, we deserve it every now and then. We deserve, like, this was an excellent interview and it was just awesome. So we are so happy to bring this to you this week.
Yeah, Scott is a really, really cool dude and so much fun to talk to. And I don't know if it's because the people that we've been speaking to are home and relaxed or what, or we're just more relaxed or both. But it sure does seem like the conversations that we've had lately end with us making friends with the people that we're speaking to and creating relationships that are going to continue on just past, oh, you were on our podcast once or whatever. You know, it was really cool to hear. So when this came about, I DM'd Scott on Instagram, was like, hey, I'm Aaron from No Simple Road. I'd love to have you on the show. And then I didn't hear back for a while. And I thought we were getting blown off. And I was like, okay, that's cool. He's busy doing other stuff. But then he DM'd me back and he was like, hey, man, I listened to some of the episodes of your show and I'd love to be on. And I was like, whoa, okay. Scott Metzger actually listened to our show, first of all. And second, he thought it was worthy enough that he wanted to come on. I thought that was really cool. And then when we were talking to him, he had brought up the idea of having things to look forward to.
Oh, that was so sweet, Scott. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, man. And he actually said, like, I was like looking forward to coming on here. It was like one of those things that I was looking forward to doing. And
which is awesome, because we were wanting to talk to Scott for a while, and it happened like most things when it's supposed to. This was a great conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to hear it. But just like always on No Simple Road, that's where we depart from what's happening this week, and we delve into the depths of our world. So, we're going to do we're going to get an interview going here in a little while.
Before we delve into that, before I forget, because I want everybody to do that. You're going to hear this interview, and you have to go look up something, because I learned something immediately after this interview. Scott, Katie, we went and listened to some more of your music. You guys need to go to YouTube, and you need to listen to Scott Metzger and Katie Jacoby, who is his fiance. They do Help on the Way. Just look it up. It's like a almost 10-minute video. It is amazing, the duet they do together, and you just see the love between these two, and it's pretty amazing. You need to do that.
And not to mention Lamp, which is Russ Lawton, Scott Metzger, and Ray Paczkowski. And I'm not sure if I said his last name right or not, but Paczkowski, I don't know. I'm blowing it. But whatever. You guys know Ray P from the Tab band. And that music came into our world and has become one of those staples on the porch. Like, that is like the smoothest groove, the coolest vibe.
Yeah.
And the no lyric thing is so perfect for COVID time right now with everything that's going on. And it's just rad to have new stuff, new music, new creations coming into our world at
I've
this
said
time.
it to a few of the people that have been on, Will from Escaper, grateful that they are putting out their new music. They're not waiting for a tour. They are doing it for themselves, for us, and just feeding us during this time. So thank you for doing that. Yeah.
And I got to bring up too, it was just, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, the announcement that Lock-In is being postponed until October of 2021. And that's a bummer and a drag. And the video that Peter Shapiro put out on social media, you could see the, not pain, the disappointment and sadness that he's having.
He was really, really trying his best. And I mean, Peter Shapiro trying his best to pull something off. And
they were going to have a mobile testing
can't happen right now. He went above and beyond to try to make it happen. And like Aaron said, you can see,
you could see the disappointment in his eyes and in his demeanor. And, say what you will, people all have their opinions about Pete, but I'll say this for him, man. He is ahead, and that guy loves the music and the musical community and does everything he can to make sure that we have these venues and places to go to celebrate each other and the music. And it was really sad to see that another festival bite the dust in 2020. But one beautiful thing that came out of that is JRAD is going to play live from Lock-In. I think it's October 3rd and 4th, and they're going to live stream it. So if you have a Lock-In ticket,
cool,
you get to see that for free. And then the rest of us who didn't buy Lock-In tickets can go and pay for the stream or whatever. But we are going to get to see JRAD live playing from Lock-In this year. And that's freaking cool as hell. And I appreciate that. Like, even through all the disappointment and sadness and all the things that have happened, there are still things like the new Lamp album, like JRAD playing from there, that are happening, that are popping up. It's like little sprouts in a dead garden that are, the promise of spring is still out there for all of us. The winter is still here, but you see the birds coming back and the seeds are,
doing what we can do.
It's nuts, man. We were just sitting here talking to Jake before we started recording earlier today, and I was saying to Jake, like, how can a human being that's alive and conscious and awake on the planet right now not be affected by the pressure and anxiety that's infusing the collective consciousness? Even somebody that is a generally positive outlook human being is feeling the weight of the barometric pressure of
It's bearing down on us all. Yeah.
And I was saying to him, I was like, dude, through 30 years of taking psychedelics, it's taking every trick in my bag to not succumb to that stress and pressure. And these things that come up, the one of them that comes to mind is the Fish album, or Lamp, or the JRAD stream, like the stuff that we're talking about right now. Escaper's new album, these little bits of light at the end of the tunnel are the things that have been getting us through. And it's so important to remember that when you're feeling that pressure, that there is those little bright lights that are shining out there. I just saw like Billy Strings is doing some shows from at a drive-in. And
there's so many artists now that are creating podcasts too, that you can listen to on a regular, on a daily, that you don't have to wait for, you know?
Krasno's got a podcast.
Yeah,
Oteil.
Yeah.
And the drive-in shows, we'll have to experience one. We have several friends that have experienced them. John just went to Pigeons playing ping pong.
John who?
John B.
John
really?
B. Yeah,
Wow.
at I think it's at Philadelphia Phillies in the parking lot at the baseball
Right on.
stadium. And he said it was different, but it was really cool. It was cool to get out. People were able to dance, have fun. It's not what we're used to, but it's
No.
something, and
And I'm
it's
sure we're
it's
not going to
working
get
towards getting back there.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of, we can't go all the way, but we can go a quarter of the way.
So like we can get to second base.
Yeah. Well, think about
Can't
when you
go
were a
all the
teenager,
way.
you wanted to get to second base and you would do whatever.
Oh, I
it
was
took.
stoked to get to second
Yeah,
base as a
so-
teenager.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so that's all we need to become like our teenage selves.
But-
Be excited for what we can get.
It that too. Yeah, I get it. I was telling Apple, like, with the drive-in thing, I need to experience it to have an opinion on it. I can't have an opinion on it if I haven't done it. Like,
yeah.
not.
We need to experience one.
the thought of it is weird to me, but I think just being around the energy of other people and the music playing would be a really beautiful thing. And to those artists that are out there
We
doing it,
have
I
to-
give them props, man.
I was going to say, sorry, baby.
No, it's cool.
We have to look with different eyes and hear with different ears right now. We can't think that we're going to go to a drive-in and have the same thing happen when we're at like MSG or,
Dicks.
yeah, we can't, the Gorge, we can't think that it is what it is right now. So during COVID, the shittiest time anybody's ever experienced, we're getting to go to a drive-in and dance around our cars, and that's what we get right now. And no, it's not forever. And yeah, it was better before, but this is what we get now. And it's just part of keeping the gratitude in your heart for what we can get, because they could be like, no, fuck that. You're not getting anything at all. And that would be, that suck.
That would suck.
That suck that you didn't have even one little drive-in to go to or nothing.
That's a really good point that you just made about gratitude. I think like that, keeping that frame of reference in your head of being grateful for the things that you do have is like inoculating yourself against the malaise and depression and just anxiety of life right now. I think that is one of the key things that we can do to like keep your chin up, kiddo. Like
We have to do something, because like you were saying a few minutes ago, the barometric pressure of everybody's disappointments, frustrations, fears, doubts, all unsurety, that's a lot. So if we can just try to be grateful. It's not like you got to, and it's not like you don't have to be perfect about it, but just one little thing, like, dang, I got to do this dope Zoom class this week, or man, I got to see my friend for 20 minutes, like it's our medicine.
Something to open that steam release valve a little. And
well, like there's something to like doing a gratitude journal.
I was just going to say.
Or a gratitude practice in the morning or before bed or when you're pissed off. Like,
ooh, that's the hardest time when you're fucking pissed.
Dude, finding a way when you're pissed off to find something grateful for. Or even better, your shitty situation. What are you grateful for in this shitty situation?
So when people talk about doing like gratitude journals and stuff like that, you always hear like, when you get up in the morning, get your gratitude journal and your tea or your coffee. And it's always very woo. But there's a...
That doesn't sound woo.
It does. But
journal and coffee?
There's something to it, though.
Sounds cute.
Doing it in the morning.
It depends on the voice you say it in, too. We've said that before.
Grab your journal and a coffee and write your gratitude.
You have to say it in your new age voice.
Oh.
Like, I am way more woke than you, Manny. So, no.
When you present yourself before the day.
Yeah, no.
And
There's
drink your magical drink.
There's something to doing it in the morning like that, because what it does is it sets your mind in that frame at the beginning of your day before any bullshit has happened.
Yeah, before anything infiltrates it.
Yeah, so what I've been doing is in the morning when Mel usually leaves for work about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
No, I leave at 5:15 every day.
Okay, 5:15. And I go out and I have coffee by myself on the porch. And when I do that, I just go into the notes on my phone and I put one thing that I'm grateful for that day. Just one thing. It's no big deal. There's no big production. I'm not lighting candles and calling the quarters and walking witter shins in my black robe and lighting candles.
But you can do that too.
You can do that. I'm not making fun of that. I'm just saying I'm not doing that then. I may be doing that other times, but I'm not doing that then. And I've noticed that since I started doing that, the funk is decreased by 50%. Because when that funk comes in later in the day, I'm like, and I think back to the morning, I'm like, oh, I wrote that I'm happy that Mel and I got good rest the night before. I'm grateful for that. Or I'm grateful that my family has dinner together every night, or whatever my silly thing is that I wrote. And it may sound silly or trite or funny or whatever, but it's not, man. It really does take your brain in a different direction. And look, I'll just be honest with y'all, man. We all need all the light we can get right now. Mm-hmm. And if sitting there in the dark, or as the sun comes up, or after the sun comes up, and with your phone or your journal and your coffee or tea, writing down something that you're grateful for, if that thing can bring you a little light and levity and brevity in your life right now,
that's what I feel like this interview is. It's a little piece of light. And wherever Scott was, wherever we were, we got together to bring everybody listening a little piece of light in the way that we can.
I feel like, and I think I said this too, Scott, like JRAD has always been very special for us as a family. And their music is that. It's this, to me, like if JRAD's music was a painting, it would be a painting of fireworks or an explosion of light.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you're saying. Right as I look up at the poster we have on the wall, that's an explosion of colors.
Yeah, it really is.
No, they are. They are something different. They are all on their own in filling that high tempo fun, excitement. I mean, you get excited going to a JRAD show. And you know you're going to be sweat. We say it we thank him for the good time, because we know at the end of it we're going to be elated, exhausted.
Yep.
You're sweaty,
smiley,
you dance like you've never danced. It's something about JRAD.
It really is.
It really is
special medicine.
And that thing is, you know how they say things are the sum of their parts, like. Each individual member of that band has that thing in them individually. And when they come together, that's what creates that explosion, is those individual fires coming together on the stage and making this grand explosion that happens.
And I think we even mentioned to Scott, like, hey, if you want to tell Joe that we want him on the show.
Yeah.
Shout out, Joe.
I've been trying to get Joe Russo on this show since we started, man. 3 years. Like we've had Marco, we've had Scott, we've had Tommy. Like two more left, guys. Let's make the rounds through the whole rad of J.
I know, it'll happen.
It'll happen. But anyway, you guys, just keep your heads up out there, man. We're here. If you need to reach out, you can reach out at info@nosimpleroad.com. And if you're having a hard time, if you're having a great time, if you want to talk, whatever, we will answer. If you want to send us some stuff that you're grateful for, that'd be cool. Just saying. If you just don't want to write it down to yourself and you want to send it to somebody else, I'm down. I'll read it and I'll send you a little note back.
Yeah, everybody should know that. I think you should know. And if you're a new listener, then you will find out we are open. I mean, completely
24/7.
Accessible.
We're very accessible. There's many ways to reach out to us. We got to give Aaron credit for Aaron is the best at responding to everything and everyone and letting us know what's going on. And we get a lot of feedback. But
Apple and I are, we're here too. And if you guys feel like you want to throw something out at me and Apple too, go for it.
Yeah. Man, do it. And there's a lot of ways to interact with this podcast family that we've created here too, man. You can go to Instagram and follow us there at No Simple Road. There's also the No Simple Road family group on Facebook. So if you're one of those people that's still on Facebook and you dig that, go over to the No Simple Road family group and ask for admittance, and one of us will let you in the door because you know the secret code. And then you can hang out with the other members of the No Simple Road family. I've seen some people posting
also,
in there recently.
We have a Reddit. So
r/No Simple Road on Reddit if you want to hang out over there, if that's more your speed. Also, there
it's a hotline.
The tepid line.
971-808-1524. That number again is 971-808-1524 for all of your tepid stuff. Now,
we really enjoy that, everybody. So if you want to leave a line, just something silly, a joke, a recipe, a story, use us as your gratitude journal.
Any kind of story, and then the tepid line is the best because it always leads to comedy no matter what, because the Google Translate always does something to it, like when you try to dictate to your phone. It can be very comical, but then we love hearing the real message.
Yeah, you could literally call it and say, "Hey, this is Carl from Venezuela, and I just want to say what's up." That's it.
We'd be like, "Hell yeah, Carl reached out this week.
Rock on, Carl!" And check this out: if you go to www.nosimpleroad.com and you go to the top, there's like past episodes and current episodes and the family, and there's one of them that says gear. There's some new stuff up there. There is some No Simple Road, really cool Bertha logo No Simple Road coffee cups that are two colors. They're yellow and black and super cool. And there are ladies racerback tees with the Bertha logo.
I'm waiting mine in the mail.
Yeah.
It's getting to be hoodie weather.
And there's hoodies up there.
And then long sleeves.
We jumped on the COVID train, and we too now have a neck gaiter for your COVID mask wearing needs,
just to have around your neck during the cold weather.
It also is, if you got long hair, those neck gaiters are awesome for pulling your hair back and not having to use a rubber band to rip your hair out and make yourself go bald like I've been doing.
Yeah.
And it's got the Hair of the Wolf designed No Simple Road van logo on it, and those are dope. So go over to nosimpleroad.com at the gear tab and check out the new merch that's up. Some people have ordered shirts and stickers lately, and we are super grateful to all of you. And all of you guys that are our patrons on Patreon, we love you.
Thank you.
No Simple Road family.
Thank you so much.
And those of you that have thought about signing up on Patreon, or if you don't know what it is, that is how we pay for this thing that you're listening to right now. The fact that you're listening to No Simple Road right now is a testimony to those people that have signed up on Patreon.
That's right.
They made sure that you got to listen to Scott Metzger today. So if you believe in the ethos of the No Simple Road family, if you are into helping us spread love, light, connection, and community out into the multiverse like mycelium, then you can go to patreon.com/No Simple Road and sign up as a patron. And you could sign up for as little as $1 a month, all the way up to $10 billion a week. We're fine with that. And
Yeah.
That's cool.
do
Yeah,
that,
that'd be
man.
cool.
Well,
Or 11.
or 11 or 22. Anyway, that is that. That's the business. Anybody have anything witty or funny or nice to say before we go?
Anything witty, funny, or nice? I just want to reiterate again before we get to introducing Scott here that you need to go check out. This guy has done so many things with so many people. If you go on, I love YouTube. I love going on there. There's so many performances to catch of him with so many different people. And I can't stress enough again, go watch him and Katie Jacoby singing Help on the Way. It should move you in many ways. It should bring you to tears. It is beautiful.
Well, I guess we'll leave you with that.
Yeah.
Scott, man, thank you again for hanging out with us,
you.
brother. And when shows start up again and you make your way out to Portland,
We'd love to have you.
You know how it works, man.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, get ready. Here we go. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Scott Metzger.
On the porch, on the porch. No Simple Road
On the porch.
is on the porch.
August 1, 2020.
It is the days between. It's Jerry's birthday. And we're going to talk to Scott.
Jerry's birthday, July is in the bag.
I know. Just the faster we can get through 2020, the better. Can we just call it? Like, can you just say nah to the rest?
I think no matter what's happening, I think we're going to
You
enjoy
will
we're
miss
gonna
so many
enjoy the
blessings
holidays.
if that happened.
Yeah, we're going to enjoy the holidays no matter what. That's
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 true.
home time.
Come on, phone. Phone is not doing what it's supposed to do.
Darn. phone.
Scott, are you there?
Hey, you reached Scott. Leave me a message.
No, I don't want to leave you a message.
Scott, we want to talk.
Have you text with him?
Yeah.
Okay. He's ready.
He's ready. He just, whatever. So we'll just talk. We'll keep talking. That's what these heads do.
These heads.
Talking heads.
I'm much more than just a head.
Well, you have a head, though.
I got one.
Yes, you do. It's pretty.
Thanks.
It's a pretty head.
Pretty head.
It is really, really wonderful out here.
It is. This is a nice break after the way it's been the last few days.
Yeah, waking up, it was super cold and a little kind of like moist in the air, and it even drizzled on the way to pick up my mom. And then this is what we
Metzger.
Here we go.
Bring the fall.
Hi, Scott. Oh, hang on a second. Something weird's happening.
Something weird's
Okay.
always happening.
Oh, yeah.
There.
It's something
the
weird's
weirdness
always
has
happening.
ended. How you doing, man?
All right. How's it going?
Good, brother. This is Aaron.
And this is Melanie. Thanks, Scott, for joining us.
And
You know what? Hold on for 1 second.
Yeah,
I got to
sure.
take
Absolutely.
this earpiece out.
Yeah, do your thing, man.
It's a little muffled. See if that's any better. Sorry.
How
Yeah.
about now?
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Cool,
Okay.
cool.
All right. This is Mel, and then lastly,
and then
we
the
have
third part, you got Apple here. And thank you for joining us, Scott. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on today here.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Thanks so much for having me.
What are you up to today, man?
There's not a lot going on these days.
No.
But we're having a heat wave here. I'm in Brooklyn, New York, and just trying to stay cool and
Hang out at home.
enjoy the day. Yeah.
how do you stay
A
cool in
lot of
Brooklyn?
hanging out.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's pretty intense. It gets pretty full
Sight-
contact here. The heat is no joke.
Yeah, I've been to New York one time to the airport, and the air was oppressive in the summertime. I was like, oh no, But yeah, man, we're in Portland, Oregon, and we were just talking before we called you. It's like we've been having the same thing going on, and it's like in the 60s today. It's beautiful. So we're out on our porch actually recording,
Enjoying
and
weather.
life. So yeah, man.
Oh, man. That sounds really nice.
So
That
You're
sounds very
invited.
different than what over here.
yeah, anytime
thank
you want
I'm
to
on
come
my
down.
way.
Yeah.
All right, we got a seat for you, man. We really do.
So,
Perfect.
Scott,
Perfect.
I just want to say, man, thanks for coming on, first of all, but even moreover, thanks for what you do, man.
Thanks for the music.
Yeah, man, you have really added a lot of enjoyment to our lives over the years, brother. And I just want to say thanks, man.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. It's our pleasure, you know. I feel very lucky to get to do what I do.
Well, and it shows in seeing you play where we were like everybody's bummed. We were supposed to have caught you guys JRAD at Cuthbert Amphitheater up here in Eugene, and then the show up in Seattle. But you know,
it is what it is.
Yeah, that'll happen next year. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So Scott, you guys just came in July came out with Lamp. And it's in the midst of all of this. Like, how is that going down for you guys?
Well, it's funny. We recorded it last year.
Oh,
right. So the band is. I don't know if everybody knows what it is, but it's me and Russ and Ray from. People know those two guys from. They're in Trey Anastasio's band. The organ player and drummer, and the three of us shared a booking agent for a few years there, and we met through that. And we said, we should, the three of us had a great rapport, and we sort of, as musicians do, we were talking about how great it'd be to have some kind of project or make some music together. And we talked about that for like 2 years. Everybody's schedules are crazy busy, and it's, it's tough to find a few days that everybody had off.
Right.
So eventually we did a gig in November up in Burlington at Nectar's in November of 18.
Okay.
That would have been. And with sort of the goal of like, let's feel it out and let's see how this feels and let's see if the chemistry works, because we all sort of had a hunch that musically we were all coming from the same place and that it would, it'd be more simpatico.
Right.
And after that gig, we all agreed, that question was answered and, that we should try and record some. And then, everybody's busy. Everybody's on the road. So we wrote some songs via the internet, which I had never done before.
Oh, really? That was your first time doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first time sending files back and forth to people in a compositional way. I've done it on recordings. Somebody sends a track and they put it down a solo on the outro of this song. Or something.
Okay.
Done that plenty, but actually writing music without seeing those guys was a whole new experience. And then I drove up to Vermont in the summer of 19. It was probably in May of 2019, and we spent a few days recording in Vermont. And then we made the record, and then we had the same problem where we were like, well, we should put it out when we can do a tour or when we can, give it some attention. And, you look at everybody, all three of our calendars were like, knock on wood, everybody's booked.
Right.
So it was kind of turning into like, well, is this even ever going to come out? Like, what are we going to do with this stuff? Because we all really liked it. And I think it's really something different.
It's wonderful.
Has its own musical personality.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so when, all this sort of, coronavirus stuff started, it's become very clear that having things to look forward to and things to get excited about are like crucial.
Oh.
Yes.
Man, you're speaking my language. I'm a human.
Speaking the language.
Yeah,
that's what it is right now.
I really am one of those people, man, and I think that was the biggest adjustment I don't know for other people, but for me in this was that just losing anything to look forward to. So you're right, man.
Oh my God. I mean, well, at the beginning of this, I came home, I did 10 nights with Circles Around the Sun, and we could talk more about that. But that was like this really special thing. I came home and I felt so great. And when I was coming home, it was like, I flew home from Charlottesville to here, and you could feel it at the airports. Like things were getting tense. Like you were starting to see people wearing masks here and there, but it wasn't like a full blown thing.
Right.
And within 3 days of getting home, a bunch of JRAD stuff got canceled. And it was just like every single day the phone was ringing, and it was like, yeah, you know, those 5 gigs that you had, those are gone now. And then the next day, you know, because I play with a lot of different projects,
Right.
so it was like every different project was calling, being like, yeah, no, all these are gone, all these are gone. And it was hard. And then being in Brooklyn, where we were the epicenter of, we were kind of like the first people to go through to see how severe it was going to be. It was tense. It was really, really tense for a while, and it was not easy. It wasn't a fun, you know, March through April isn't going to stand out as a very cool period.
No.
You know?
No.
But so anyway, so to tie it back in, finding things to get excited about and finding things to look forward to has become the new thing. You know, it's like become very, very important. And it sort of dawned on me. I was like, oh man, we've got me, Russ, and Ray have this little record that we made. And we've been looking for an opportunity. We've been looking for some time, you know, to put it out. And now everybody's got nothing but time. So why not do it now?
You've become a pioneer in what's necessary for right now. Like you guys got in right at that exact point where it was poignant and necessary and like a drink of water. Whoa, thank you. During that wonderful April. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
Wow, Scott, that's amazing. What a calling that is.
Yeah. Well, it was such a gift to have that, just to have something to focus on. Cause I'm not kidding, here in Brooklyn, you know, we were hearing ambulance sirens, like just nonstop for 6 weeks.
Oh man.
You know, I mean, it's like that. I never really, you know, that wears on you.
Yeah.
After a while.
That starts to tear at your psyche.
And here on the West Coast, like we know a lot of people back there, and seeing Times Square like a ghost town. Just the images that would come out, it's just like, wow, this is, you know, unprecedented, just scary stuff.
But like he's saying, I think something special that's happened that I've realized through this is before all this happened and new music would come out, there was a lot of noise going on, meaning we were going to festivals and you guys are playing festivals and you got gigs and we're going to shows and doing this and that. And then an album comes out and you're like, yeah, there's this new album, but it's lost in the haze of
you
everything.
Don't get around to just sitting down and listening to it for the first time.
Now we're absorbing this music in a very different way than we ever were before. I know I am.
Yeah. And I think it means something different. Like I personally will have a very special relationship to anything that I put out or that I hear for the first time in this phase.
Right.
You know, because everything is so much more, you know, emotionally heightened. I think whether we all realize it or not, I think it's going to be hindsight that's going to really put into perspective, you know, just how crazy all this is. But,
I'm looking forward to the hindsight.
That I hear. Yeah. We'll take it. We'll take it when we can get it.
Yeah, man. Trey just came out with that new album. I think it was yesterday. And that stuff, Lamps stuff, the Circle stuff that's come out, there's been 5 or 6 different acts that have put new stuff out that have really been instrumental in getting me personally, and I think the rest of the crew too, through all of this. And I'm just curious, man, like before all this happened, did you ever consider that is what music is for a lot of people, or do you see it as more entertainment?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of all of the above. I mean, I know that for me, the things that I've been through in my life, there's been certain moments that I've gone through that will forever be associated with a certain musical artist or a certain song. Like if a certain song comes on, I'm immediately going to be sort of emotionally transported back to, you know, something that I was going through or a great memory or whatever
Right.
it is. But there's also the element of like music's fun, man. You know, going to a concert is awesome,
The
right? Like I
most fun.
remember, it's the best. I mean, I remember the first concert I ever went to, like it was last week, and it was definitely not last week.
Yeah, no
You know,
shit.
it was. I
Yeah.
mean, 94.
What was it?
94, I went to see the Ramones. It was, I had seen concerts that my parents had taken me to. They were like huge, and still are big Bob Dylan fans. So I was, at the time, I didn't realize what a big favor they were doing me, but they were dragging me to Dylan concerts from the time I was, 3 or 4 years old until I was like rebellious youngster guy and just stopped refusing to go see my parents' music, which now I love.
Right?
But so the first show that I bought myself a ticket to was the Ramones in '94 at a club called City Gardens,
Okay.
and I remember it so clearly. It's crazy. The house lights went off, and they played the theme song from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly
Oh, wow.
at like ear-splitting volume, and that was like, it was like a wrestling match, that was like their entrance music.
Yeah. Oh, crap.
And they came out and they didn't say a word to the crowd. They didn't like acknowledge the crowd. They picked up their instruments and they went right into Blitzkrieg Bop, which is like the #1 hit.
Right.
It's not like they saved it for the encore or something. They just went right to the heart of the matter. And I remember I was like, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
This energy and this experience.
Yeah, there really is nothing like that. There, and that's one thing about what's going on right now that's tough is like it's all been moved online and streams are a huge thing right now. And I personally have a hard time, man, because I'm missing that telepathic connection with the band and the crowd. There's a disconnect for me that happens. So I can't even imagine. Like Mel and I were talking yesterday, we were listening to some music, and I was saying, like, for guys like you that have been touring consistently for years and years and always daily almost getting that infusion of energy from a crowd, and then all of a sudden it's just not there. And what do you do? Like, has that been something that you've thought about since all this started? Like that thing is missing?
Yeah, I don't know if I thought about it, but it's more of a feeling.
Right.
I'd say, because that feeling is like that gives you the purpose,
Oh, yeah.
to keep doing it and to keep connecting, that connection with the crowd and, playing a 3-hour show
Yeah.
like JRAD, JRAD does 3-hour gigs, it's not uncommon. And to kind of keep an eye on the crowd, like an hour 45 in and be like, all right, we still got an hour and 15 to go. And do we still have them? Like, let's make sure we're all on the same page here.
Whoa.
That's a very powerful thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And maybe to answer your question, maybe, you sort of start to take it for granted a little bit, or just don't think about how much of an impact it has on me. Cause now I'm just, since March 9th, I'm just sitting at home recording and stuff, but I haven't played with anybody. I haven't made any music with or for anyone else in real time. And that's the longest that's happened since I was 16 years old.
Wow. That's crazy. And I think too, like, about being a musician and playing with other people informs your style, because you're having a musical conversation with them and your voice is responding to the conversation that's happening. And then you're not having that. So your playing, I think, in my mind at least, would be different. Have you noticed that your playing has changed since this started?
Yeah, sure. And I don't necessarily know if it's in a good or a bad way, but it's just being informed now by like what I'm listening to,
Right.
You know, or seeing on streams, as opposed to, I mean, that's one of the biggest things I've always thought about JRAD is that, you know, the five of us, you know, the first JRAD gig, which was going to be a one-off, was in 2013 or 14. But before that, the five of us in different configurations had been playing together for 15 years.
Right.
And like my style of playing with Joe or with Dave or with Marco or with Tom is like very specific to playing with those guys, you know? So I think that we came up with a sound,
Oh yeah.
the five of us together, and as collectively, but also individually within that. And now it's kind of, you know, there's nothing being added to it.
Right. Right. So
right now.
that kind of thing, when you get tapped to asked to come play with Circles, are you coming at that with a fresh perspective, or are you bringing that sort of Grateful Dead JRAD bag of tricks along with you?
Well, the Circles thing is so specific, right?
Yeah.
It's like everything about that those gigs have been very just specific. I don't know what else to say. But I don't think so. I mean, I think that hopefully what I'm doing as a musician is respecting that these are three different guys,
Right.
with three different styles than anybody else that I've ever played with. And let's see what the four of us can do, as opposed to like, well, this is my thing and I'm bringing my thing in here and,
Oh, okay.
you know, deal with it. You know,
Here's my shit. Deal
This is
with
what
it.
you get.
You guys work around me.
yeah, you wanted me here. You know what I mean? Like,
Your diva moment.
yeah, right. But yeah, you know, I don't know. I mean, I've been thinking with the Circles thing in particular. I had a teacher when I was younger, and he would always say, you know, if you're going to play music, the context in which you're doing it should never affect your job. And like he'd always say, you know, it doesn't matter if you're playing at Carnegie Hall or Carnegie Deli. Your job is to show up and play music to the best of your ability at the highest level that you're able to with the people that you are. And I've always taken that very seriously. And I think that, you know, it kind of takes some of the sentimentality of the situation out of it,
Right.
and actually makes it easier to just be like, all right, let's see what the four of us can come up with
Yeah.
on these songs.
Especially with Circles, in light of everything that's transpired with the band and with Neil, and then doing that, I would think that would have to come into play. Like, you would have to at least a little bit divorce yourself from the sentimentality of it, or it would be too hard, right?
I think it would be impossible,
Yeah.
you know, because like I was friends with Neil. Like, it's all just so loaded and so touchy, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And it proved to be, you know, a little, like I said, we did 10 nights right before this pandemic happened. And there were moments where it was tough. There were moments where it was just playing with the guys too,
Right.
you know, and it was great. I mean, it was all, I'll say it was all great. It was really special, but there were things that I hadn't considered, honestly. Like, I didn't take into account, you know, it made it just a little tougher when there were people like in the front row wearing shirts of Neil.
Ooh.
And I just sort of like hadn't, and of course they were, because that was Neil's band, and
Yeah.
you know, they're fans of Neil, just like I am, you
Right.
know. But I just hadn't mentally sort of prepared for that, sort of like walk out on stage, put on the guitar, and look out, and that being the first thing that I see, like kind of right there.
Jarring.
Yeah, it took a minute to kind of just
And
you
you
know,
did it anyway.
just get to the
man.
business.
Yeah, he did it.
Well, we are so thankful that project continued on. You know, we've talked to Mark and everything, and to see that nobody knows what's going to happen, but then to have Eric step in there for a little bit and do what he did, and then have you step in there, and that music, that project, it's just so important.
Yeah, and also, like, when we saw them in 2019 here, with Krasno, and I know what you're talking about, Scott. Like, there was at the beginning of the show, there was a song and a half, maybe.
I was one of them.
Of a moment of like, this feels weird and strange. Like, we shouldn't maybe be doing it. And then then it broke through, and there was celebration and beauty and joy and all the good stuff that comes. But there was that moment, man, of like, oh shit.
It's almost like when you get a divorce and your mom brings home a new boyfriend or something, and you are prepared to hate him, you know, just because but then you give him a chance and he's a sweetheart, and he's
that's
actually
a really, really good analogy,
right? And then he's like wins your heart, and you guys have your own relationship, and you love him now and your real dad, you know, like, so you don't have to choose. And that, because I remember feeling that way with Eric, and I was like, I love Eric. He was on the show. I love what he does. He's got his own sound, and I just love him. But I was still hurt. I still miss Neil. I was still mourning, and I wanted to see them because we've interviewed Cats is part of our
life
genesis on the show. Really, like
everybody. Dan's hard to catch up with.
Yeah, Dan.
He's an enigma.
But yeah, like, and seeing everybody have their own flavor with respect to the music and with their own style I didn't account for Eric being so awesome or for you being so awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought, oh, I miss Neil. Like, this is cool, but not, and I'm going to support it because I love them. But I didn't expect to be like, whoa, this is dope. Like, okay, like I'm all ears, you know. So that's awesome that you still did it. You saw that T-shirt and you still rocked it. Yeah,
well, yeah. I mean, I was so honored that they would, you know, when Gary, their manager, called me and said, you know, they want you to come and do these gigs with them, and you know, because I was a genuine fan of the band. You know, like, I'd go see Circles Around the Sun when they would come through Brooklyn Bowl or whatever.
Right.
And so, you know, there's just that element of it. And then also the three of those guys could not have been and continue to be just like so incredibly supportive and sort of, you know, encouraging. It's not like we're sitting around having heart-to-hearts all the time, but just like the vibe is just so good. Like, you know, we want you know, do your thing. You're here. We want you here, you know, and that really, because it could go, I could see it going another way too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have heard stories, frankly, of people being in, you know, similar situations where they're coming into a situation where there was another guy and people saying, oh, well, you know, you need to do it more like the guy who was here before.
Oh, no, yeah.
And I'm just the kind of person that wouldn't work with.
Yeah.
Not gonna fly,
well,
man.
You want expression, not mimicry, you know, like, show me what you got versus do this.
Yeah.
You know, back to the lamp thing, you say that, like, chemistry is different with different guys, and I get that. Like, you know, if we add somebody here on the porch, conversation is different. I get it. But in working with those guys and writing it the way that you did, and that being the first time that you did it like that, I would imagine songs that have, this is just my non-musician mind, songs that don't have any lyrics like that are really difficult to do if you're not in person, to write like that. How does that work when you guys are doing it online, basically?
Yeah. I think if it was different guys, it might have been tougher. For example, Russ would send a drum beat, and drum beats are so musical. It doesn't just sound like a stock
Right.
beat, that comes in GarageBand on your computer or something. It's sort of like a song. You can kind of, it's musical. His playing is very musical, and it was sort of inspiring. It would inspire something very quickly. I'd also try and just jump on the first idea. I would have everything set up so that I could just record in real time, kind of the first time hearing whatever idea was sent, as to not overthink, what was, sometimes your first instinct about things is the right one. So you always want to capture that one.
Yeah, man.
Right.
That's tough. And it
yeah.
As an artist, because I draw, and I know that like sometimes a drawing will be finished and I want to keep fucking with it, and then I've ruined stuff by doing that. Do you have that issue?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's funny. Because I'll go back and I'll like critically listen to myself on things.
Okay.
Like I'll sort of be taking mental notes, and like, again, I'm in this incredible position where a lot of the stuff that I do, whether, even if it's live, it's recorded. So I can come home from a tour. I can be like, oh yeah, like the second set in Albany, that felt really good. Or the second set in Burlington didn't feel really good, which are usually the ones that are more important to go back and kind of listen to and just figure out what wasn't working, or maybe it was working and my impression of it was off.
Oh.
But honestly, a lot of times if I go back and listen, I'll hear what was going on. I'll be like, oh, I can feel the solo moving, and I'll think, I just really hope I wrap it up. Like at the end, like in 4 bars. And inevitably it keeps going. And I'm just like, man, now you're just talking. Now you're just like saying, this is just how I feel. But like, I sometimes feel like the impact would have been so much greater had I just stopped, had I just walked away from it, 30 seconds earlier.
But how could you even clean that up? Because isn't that like you're playing in the moment?
Right.
So like in that moment, you were going further, but in your next moment where you saw that footage and then you are going to want to apply it, but the moment is different. So it may not, right? Like that was the best at that time. You did rock it no matter what you think about it. Like you did it. And then this next time will be the same because I just think about that you said critical thinking, and sometimes I just lock in on words, and critical can mean so much, right? It can mean like, it can be like it's critical for your health. It's necessary, or it can be very like critical where I'm like hurting your feelings, And so inside there's like this balance of us that's always trying to make this improvement, but at the time we're doing things, we're usually using our best selves of the moment.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right? Like
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And, to be too critical in terms of like, oh, I should have done it differently. Eventually that gets super, it'll choke off all the, you start overthinking again.
Yeah. Right. Start fucking
the overthinking of it just kills it. And I've also learned too that for me to be too critical about whatever happens is very selfish of me. Because
so?
I really, I've had nights where I've been like, oh man, I feel like I'm not on my game, let's say.
Yeah.
And then I'll have people come up to me X amount of time later and be like, oh, that night, that was the best you've ever sounded, or that was the most that I've ever enjoyed your playing, or the most I've gotten out of your playing.
Whoa.
And I've realized that, and that if I'm up there just being like, oh no, it's not happening, I'm just making it all about me and like what I want. And, and the fact is that I'm one of however many people are there that night that's kind of involved in what's going on. And who am I to say this sucks, or I don't like this or whatever.
Well, it reminds me a lot of meditation too. Like if you sit down and close your eyes and try not to think, and as soon as you're doing it, I know myself, I'm like, I'm doing it, and then I'm not doing it. And
I'm meditating. No, you're not.
So that too comes into play where, especially with improvisational music, there has to be that freedom to let go and express without criticizing, or it's not improv in a lot of ways, I would think.
Yeah. I learned I'm always trying to learn and trying to, I'm very big on, not focusing on what I did a few months ago and just, what's the next thing. I learned this huge lesson on this gig that I did with somebody. You guys had Medeski on your show, right?
Oh, yeah.
So me, John Medeski, Billy Martin, and Nels Klein did a quartet gig here in New York at the end of last year. And it was an all improv show. And those three have all played together quite a bit. They've done a lot of improvising together. So I was like totally the new guy.
Okay.
We all knew each other, I've played with Nels plenty, but the other guys I really hadn't played with much. And so anyway, I showed up for sound check and I was nervous.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
What are we going to do? There were no, yeah, right. And there was no talk of, there were no emails that went around being like, okay, we'll play these songs or anything.
Oh shit.
So we did sound check and we just made up, 20 minutes worth of music. And I said to Medeski after the sound check, I was like, should we talk about anything?
I thought we just did.
Yeah, right. Because there's like a lot of people coming to this thing, and you want to, should we kick around any ideas or anything? And he was like, no. And he looked at me and he goes, just don't stop.
Oh, shit.
That to me that was like the best music lesson I got all year last year.
Wow.
It didn't, to me, it didn't mean, don't stop playing, like just keep, firing off notes, it wasn't that, but it was like, don't come out of it. Like stay in it.
Whoa.
Until it's done. Like we're going to start at 11 and we're going to play till 1 a.m. And in that time, just don't stop. Like just stay in it.
That's a life lesson. That's not just a music lesson, man.
It's kind of awesome, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
That's like hitting you with the sound wave of like the truth.
Yeah.
I think of like the cartoons when they're screaming in your face and their hair is blowing back and it's just like reverberating. Like that's a huge statement. And to be in that with somebody who just told you that and have that respect for them, like, whoa. What a 20 minutes of nonstop music and that's it. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, it was
those guys are insane.
Very cool. And you talk about the meditative element of it. It's like just stay in it, just keep going.
I was in getting ready to talk to you. I was thinking about seeing JRAD, the times that I've seen you guys play. And like I said in the beginning, man, you guys have been a part of our life since your inception.
It's one of our favorites.
Yeah,
we know we're going to get sweaty. We're going to get sweaty and dance and be worn the hell out.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep
show.
after that show. But it was supposed to be a one-off, and then it became JRAD, this thing, this force.
Yeah.
What from the inside of it? What do you think about what happened? Why is that particular configuration so successful?
Hey guys,
what's up?
Set break.
It's set break, man. Everybody's looking around, and you're probably like, "What's that smell coming from over there? It smells so good."
What is it, dude?
Usually it's premium cannabis.
Ooh,
Is it?
From
And
where?
if you happen to be up in this area, you can get that from Define Premium Cannabis.
Whoop, whoop.
Define.
One of our awesome sponsors, and it's where I make my living. And you can visit us in Hillsboro and in Forest Grove. Come see what we got. We got your edibles, your dabbables, your vapables, your rubbables, your all your edibles. We have them all. Bathables, bath bombs. We just hooked I got this older couple the other day. They went home with a couple bath bombs because I told them that you could break it up and put it in your foot massager, and they're like, "Yeah, we have one of those." I was like, "You don't have to commit to a bath. Put it in your foot massager."
That's a huge commitment. A bath is the
Sometimes people
Sometimes
don't-
it is.
You know what?
especially if
There's
you're
people
old
that are
and have a
bath
hard time.
people and not bath people.
When the lady, she's like, "I have a hard time getting in and out of the tub as it is at my age," and it was like, "Put it in your foot massager," and they went and hooked them. I can't wait to see him again.
That's awesome.
But come out, we'll take care of you, to take care of your body, your head, whatever's ailing you. And if you mention you are a listener of No Simple Road,
No Simple
you get
Road.
10% off your
10% off.
your entire purchase,
And a free t-shirt.
and you get a free T-shirt.
Free
So
t-shirt.
Free t-shirt.
everybody right now may be aching, whatever, a little, or your head just ain't right. Come visit us. We will get you dialed in, figure out what you need. It's one of our favorite things to do: educate and find the medicine you need. So come visit us, Hillsboro, where I work at. Will I float out of doors or anything?
Apple
Or-
will actually come out of the back room in a cloud of smoke with lightning and thunder, dressed like a god from ancient Rome, and he will bestow upon you the exact product that is right for the rest of your life to change your head. So you can go to Hillsboro or Forest Grove, Define Premium Cannabis, tell them you listen to the show, 10% off, free t-shirt, and take care of your head.
Shop Tour Bus.
Wow. Shop Tour Bus.
That was an impromptu.
That was
Yeah,
not
I
planned.
had no idea what you guys are doing, but I
Me
jumped
either.
in there.
Hell, jump on the bus.
Shop Tour
That's
Bus.
right.
Look, it's set break, man. Shit gets weird at set break. That's what happens.
Welcome
so
to Separate.
at this set break, you're going to head over to @ShopTourBus on Instagram or shoptourbus.com
Why
online.
would they do that?
Because your shirt just got all dirty. The dude next to you spilled beer all over you, and now you're wearing an old beer stained, busted up t-shirt, and you're going to go to shoptourbus.com online, and you're going to hook yourself up with a Grateful Dead inspired t-shirt that's going to make you feel fresh and fancy, fun and free. All the F's, and my alliteration is on point. That's all I have to say about that.
You are on point, babe.
And that box is going to come to you with a hand-designed Grateful Dead-inspired lyric on the inside with a magical, mystical tape that's going to take you on a journey. There's going to be a bootleg in that box, and you don't know which one it's going to be. It could be from 77. It could be from 89. It could be from 76. Who knows? But when you get that and you put it in the tape player, magic is going to physically come out of those speakers into your ear holes and transform the rest of your life. So you're not just getting a shirt. You're not just getting a hand-designed box. You're getting magic and intention and love and will. And you're getting free shipping when you put in the promo code No Simple Road when you check out. So take care of the No Simple Road family like they're taking care of you, and go over to shoptourbus.com online or @ShopTourBus on Instagram and get
More than you bargained for.
Oh, dude, we got to get back to our seats. The show's getting ready to start again. Set break's over.
Well, musically, just sort of technically speaking, I think it goes back to what I was saying before, where we have this chemistry. You know, Joe and Marco went to high school together, and they played music together back then.
Okay.
I met Joe in 98. I guess in 98 or 99, I met Joe at the Wetlands, and we've played together, you know, this is by far the longest break that we've ever gone without doing a gig together. And we've toured, and, you know, we did a tour of Europe, and, you know, we've just been best buds. We lived in the same neighborhood in Brooklyn. Dave, I met when I was 17. And Tommy, I met at the Wetlands too, so probably in 99. And, you know, you just can't, there's something that happens when you just play with people, the same crew, you know, for
Right.
X amount of years, for X amount of hours. Maybe it's the Malcolm Gladwell thing.
10,000 hours.
Yeah, right. Something. And something just clicks, and you just get this X factor of where you can just look over at somebody and you know exactly what's going to happen in 10 seconds because, you know, you're both looking at each other and you're having a whole conversation, even though you're playing your instruments. So I think musically, that's it. That's a big part of it. And Joe's band leadership is, I give 150% credit to. Like, he understands what the band should be, how he sort of saw the sound from right off the bat. You know, because his drums drive the band.
Oh, yeah.
I've always thought that a drummer is always the most, it just kind of sets the tone for a band.
Right.
You know, they're going to set how aggressive or how fast or slow or whatever the overall sound is. And then we're lucky enough that we're playing this incredible songbook that thousands of people really, you know, is like the fabric of thousands of people's lives. Mm-hmm. And those people are really open to hearing the songs done in a new way. They're not only open to it, they're like hungry for it.
Yep.
It seems.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And some of us, like I personally, I didn't grow up with the Grateful Dead. So I wasn't, you know, the thing that I think a lot of us always hear is like, oh, you know, you don't try and sound like the Grateful Dead. And frankly, personally, I wouldn't really know how to do that. Because it's not part of my musical, like it was never part of my foundation, you know, but improvising was.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's
what I think.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
clearly it's a great thing.
You're not mimicking
anything.
Yeah.
You're bringing a fresh voice to the table. And, you know, I've wondered, I saw my first Grateful Dead show in '89 and it blew my mind. And, you know, 30 whatever years later, I still feel the same way about the music, even on a even deeper, I feel it all these years later. And I've wondered, like, why is it that songbook? Why that has that in it? Like, why isn't it JRAD playing Rolling Stones songbook? Why is it the Grateful? Is it Hunter's lyrics? Is it the magic that the band had? Like, what do you think?
Well, I think it's the spirit of. It's more about the. I mean, this is all just my opinion.
Yeah, we're just talking.
You know, I mean,
that's why we called you, man. We want your opinions today.
Right. You have me here, right?
That's right, man.
That's the theme. Yeah, I mean, I think that exploratory spirit that they set up is very similar to the spirit that we have as musicians, but maybe it's just we're coming from a very different context because we were born in a different era and came up listening to different stuff. But in terms of the idea of stepping on stage and really going for it, like the band does not rely on formulas or anything. We're very, and this is all credit to Joe again, but like aggressively anti-formula. Like if something worked the last time that we played a tune, like we're definitely not going anywhere near that.
That's fucking
approach
yes.
the next time.
Wow.
You know, like it's no question. It's just understood. Like don't do that. You know, because
that's bold.
Because it is bold. It's scary. You know,
that just like that says a lot. That encapsulates a lot. Like he's a big person. You know, Joe, like you were saying, like his drum beats drive the band, and then to know that something's working and to totally flip it, like, no, bitch, everything's gonna work. Everything's gonna work that we do. You know, like not going back. Like that's. I mean, they mentioned that you guys have been part of our like Genesis. Like Joe and you guys, like JRAD, that bunch is so special. Like there is something that you guys bring, and honestly, great. The lyrics, the songbook, whatever. I'm a fan of you guys as a team because it's your feeling. You guys put out a feeling into the crowd that is like nothing else, and it has nothing to do with good or bad. It's like this is what I want. Like this, I want this ice cream flavor. I want this drink. I want this entree. Like you guys bring a certain thing no matter what you're doing. The way that Tommy, like he's so smooth and slick, and just you guys are just bring it. And I love you guys so much. And I want to say that from like the fangirl part, and also just from a like appreciator, like what you guys are doing, and to know that from the inside that Joe just wants to throw that out and let's do something else. And that's awesome. Like, right
that's
on.
awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I think that has a big part to do with what we were talking about a minute ago, whereas like, why aren't we up there playing the Rolling Stones songs, or whatever? Why is it this band's music that connects it? And I think it's because of exactly what you just said. Like the fan base is so special and unique to that music, where they're like open to a different thing. Not all fan bases are like that, at all.
Mm-mm.
Like at all. And that's what makes it work.
That's
That's
beautiful.
a big part of it.
That's
So we're the 5 luckiest dudes around.
That's one thing too. We've talked to Tommy and Marco and now you and stuff. The one thing I love about you guys, and not just JRAD, but this community of musicians, is the love for music, each other, the humbleness. Like when we talk to Tommy, Tommy's like, I'm not good enough to be up on stage with those guys.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was like, what are you fucking saying?
What are you talking about, man? And then and all your guys' different projects, and how this community, how you guys, like him with Ghostlight and Marco out doing his own thing. We've seen so many configurations of these different musicians, and JRAD being one of our favorites, because you just know you're going to boogie your ass off.
Well,
but it's just, you guys are all such good friends and so humble and always learning off each other. It's what makes this community so awesome and makes us want to do what we do, and like get to spend a little bit of time with you on the patio to get to know you more as a human, which you are, just like us. We used to look at it, like, you guys were more up on a pedestal, and, we can't get close to these guys. They're musicians. And just to hear everybody being so humble about things. And the other thing, too, I wanted to thank you for is, on personal note with me and Aaron, it's that the thing you put the other day on your Instagram. Congratulations on your sobriety.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know that. That's something that a lot of, like you kind of said it there. I don't often speak like this, but it is good to know that the people that are part of our community, the people we look up to and love, are human. And that meant a lot to see that. I love the way you wrapped it up. Well, I'm gonna go brush my teeth now. That was that kind of hit home. And then for me and Aaron and anybody out there dealing with life.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I just put that up because, for anybody that didn't see it, I've been sober for 14 years a few weeks ago. And, I don't talk about it. I'm not like a poster boy for recovery or anything, but it is a strange time now. And I could see if I was in a place where things were up in the air going into something like this, I wouldn't stand a chance in a situation like with what we're going through. I'm sure that there's a lot of people hanging on by a thread out there, and anything that I could do to just put something out there to maybe help somebody out, or like you said, like make things human for everybody.
Dude, I struggled with heroin addiction back in the day. It's been
20 something years that we've
had 23 years or something.
Amazing.
And it's no joke, man. And I said to Mel when this whole pandemic thing started, if that was an issue for me now, like you just said, I would have been screwed. Just
would have gone down that rabbit hole.
I don't know. I can't even imagine, like, you can't go to a meeting, everything Zoom, you're going to go to meetings and Zoom. Like, I don't know. And how do you stay accountable? But like Apple said, seeing guys like you that don't normally talk about it, just making a post, not a big deal out of it. Like, it's not for a pat on the back. It's so that other people see that this is a thing and that you can make it. That does a lot, man.
Yes,
it does. I know for me, seeing my heroes get well was a big deal.
Yeah. And to hear that.
Well, me, same. I mean, I have the same experience, where I had heroes of mine, and, in the beginning it was not easy, because you basically had to, from where I started, I basically had to relearn how to do a lot of stuff. And I stopped playing gigs for about 2 years because I wasn't sure if I could do it, if I could be around concerts and stay sober. I just hit the reset button on my life entirely. And then I had some people that were heroes of mine, and they gave me hope. They gave me the hope that you can do it, and also you can still have a great life. It doesn't have to be like this grueling thing of being like, oh my God, I'm sober. It takes everything I've got every single day just to stay sober. It's like, no, things are awesome.
I'm happy.
When we talked to Dave Schools, he talked about it that way too. He's like, no, all the way sober and happy about it, because you said grueling, okay, great, I'm sober, but now what? What's life about? No, you're playing rad, you're still living life to the fullest, and you are putting yourself out there still, which I just really admire, musicians based on the sole fact, everyone across the board, because of how exposed you guys make yourselves. Everybody who goes on stage and does anything, whether it's playing with a bow or a pick or your fingers or sticks, whatever, you're calling all the attention to yourself. Watch me do this. And that is so scary. That is bold in itself, and to constantly do it. And then so now you're doing it again in your personal life, talking about something that you really don't talk about, and still inspiring. So I just I'm really grateful to have you on this planet, and to be able to talk to you, and to be able to have accessibility to you, and the fact that that you're putting yourself out there to help anybody other than yourself is raw and bold. And I mean, thank you, Scott, for reals.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. I mean, like I said, it's a privilege to get to do what I do, and to be able to, kind of be, I guess, vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That's a privilege as well.
Whoa.
That's what I always talk to about with my, me and my guitar. I'm very much like a guitar nerd guy. I know the history of the guitar, and I like to talk about gear and things that most people would think is very boring. But trying to analyze with my friends, what is it about all these guys? It's okay, so I love Roy Buchanan and Wes Montgomery, and the list goes on and on and on. All these guys. What are some common threads to tie through all of our favorite musicians? And one of the things that always comes up is man, there is definitely a vulnerability where somebody, you just get the feeling, because these days, right, it's little kids know how to play the instrument better than I do. Kids are burned. I see these YouTubes of a 9-year-old kid just shredding a Ruption,
what the fuck? Yeah.
And you're holy shit. But then what separates that from somebody that really, where you're just impressed as opposed to moved, and to me and a lot of the people that I've talked to about this stuff, it's there is sort of this intangible sort of vulnerability thing where it is a person on stage standing there and being this is me. This is who I am, and warts and all. And that's the X factor.
Wow. I never thought of that. I never thought of it like that.
Well, I mean, you listen to Garcia. I mean, it's Garcia's birthday today, right? I mean, when you listen to that guy, there's a lot of times where you're listening to him, and it's one of my favorite elements of his playing is you're listening and you're oh man, is he going to make it?
Yeah, no
You know?
shit.
He's
Yes.
playing, you're like, I don't think he's going to make it. Like, it doesn't sound like he's going to get there. And then he gets there, and you're like, "Oh, we did it! Oh, we all got there together." You know, and that is X Factor right there, because you can't break that down to like, "Oh, he's holding his pick this way," and that's why you get, you know, it's not that.
We figured out his trick.
Yeah, it's the size of his cabinet, his Mutron. No,
Right.
That's his soul. That's what you're hearing is the soul of the person, and that is. Now that you said it, I can see it. That's the thing that's attracted me to all the people that I love, is I see their soul of them. And I don't, that's not an intentional thing, man. Like, especially coming from addiction and all that, like that emotion was anathema to me. That was, shut that down. Feelings, no thanks, you know. And then to get up and be in front of everybody and have your soft parts exposed like that, that's a huge thing. And that's what we're responding to in the crowd. That's what's making us move. Not more than the beat and the music and the groove and all that, but we're responding to the soul of all of you guys together and that force that it creates. And it's a beautiful thing. And I was going to say, these guys are like complimenting you and saying, you know,
it's not just to be complimentary.
No.
It's like I'm saying, sometimes it just, through the course of the conversation, I'm realizing all the really important times you've had in my life.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that too. And now that you're talking, you're bringing up the other the other part of the puzzle. And I'm like, well, that's why. So like, truly, that's why I'm saying it, is because you're putting all these pieces together of like the things that are very intangible to express or explain of the magic of a show and how it cures you of your ills.
Right. And so what I was saying is, like, for me, and we're talking about looking forward to stuff, right? There can be 50 festivals that we go to and 100 shows a year or whatever. When JRAD is coming to town, that's like a musical shower for me. Like, that is a refreshing thing to go see you guys play and to feel that force that's created by the group of you and your lives and knowing each other and all that. For me, it cleans me from all the other stuff I've done. Not that that's making me dirty, but it's just a different thing. It cleans me out in a really special kind of a way, man. And it's you've really kind of shed light on why that is, and it's a huge conglomeration of like relationship and understanding, respect, boldness, you know, all these wonderful things that go into it. And man, if when I sat down today to talk to you, I wasn't excited to see shows, now, thanks, man. Even more. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I hope I'm not jinxing anything.
No, man.
You know.
No, remember what Medeski said? Don't stop.
Just stay in it.
Just don't stop. Do what you're gonna do. Just don't stop.
It's funny. I've started running during this pandemic, and now it's like I feel like I hit about mile number 3, and about 4 or 5 times a week I have that moment like come up in like a little bubble, like a cartoon bubble next to my mind, where, you know, I'm really starting to fade on the running, and then John Medeski gets me through mile number 3. He's like, don't stop. You know?
Right on.
So when you run, do you listen to music? That's
a great question. And I'm super embarrassed of my answer.
Why?
Well, I've recently gone to audiobooks, actually. But when I started, my fiance's niece taught me about K-pop.
Okay.
And there's a group called Blackpink. It's actually like the most popular musical group on the planet.
Okay.
Yeah, K-pop is huge.
It's K-pop, yeah. And I had no idea. I'm sure, like you, like I was totally, I it's
No
just not
idea.
on my radar at
Right.
all. But it's fucking great music to run to.
Okay.
Like, turns out, just like super produced bubblegum pop music. But there's a reason that stuff is so popular,
All
I
right.
guess.
Aaron's going to check it out. I could just tell. He's like, I
Uh-huh.
want to go
Yeah.
running.
I run too.
Isn't
And-
it crazy how there could be something the most popular thing in the world and somebody doesn't know about it?
well,
You didn't know about the
No.
Well, they
Blackpink.
put out a video. They put out a video a few weeks ago, and it broke all YouTube records. They had 150 million views in 24 hours.
it's half the
Holy
United
crap.
States watched it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
But then I got to say too, I got to just put it out there too, just to like save face. I started mixing it in. It was getting a little out of control where I would just listen to that. So I started bringing in early Pat Metheny group
Okay.
for like to satisfy my guitar nerd side. Yeah.
That's awesome.
fucking funny, Scott.
Nobody's listened to as much Blackpink and Pat Metheny as I have this year.
Yeah.
Equal parts.
I'm going to have to go watch the video.
150 million times
Yeah,
plus one.
150 million and one. Yeah.
Pretty over the top.
So,
Pretty over the top.
man, this is the part of the conversation when I would say, so tell everybody where you're going to be and how they can get a hold of you. Fucking bullshit pandemic.
Well, I'll be
Yeah.
in Brooklyn.
Yeah. We'll be in Portland. No, man.
Practicing social distancing, right?
Yeah. Wearing a mask and playing guitar. Scott, man, I really appreciate you taking time with us, brother. It's really a pleasure to get to know you a little bit. And hang on to my number, man. When you're out in Portland, not for music or for music, hit us up, man. We got a beautiful home here and love to cook and entertain and love to have you over
When
for
it
a
makes
meal.
sense again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. You know, we were talking about how it's important to have things to look forward to these days. I've been, I checked out a bunch of episodes of your podcast. And I've been looking forward to this chat for a while now.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
man.
that,
And it's
too.
100%. 100%. You guys are great. I'm honored to be on.
Oh,
I'm
thank
blushing.
you so much.
Well, and this one kind of goes this weekend. We were releasing Russ, right?
Oh, yeah.
Russ
Yeah,
Lawton.
Russ
We talked to
Lawton's
him
coming
a
out.
little while ago. We get kind of backed up with ones in the bag and stuff, but Russ will be coming out this weekend. It was a great one. He is amazing, as you know.
Oh yeah, nicest guy ever.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. All right, my friend. You go have a wonderful Saturday and hang on to my number and stay in touch. And I'll shoot you a text when this is going to come out so you can do whatever you want to do.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks
Enjoy your day,
again.
man.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Scott.
Take care. Stay safe.
Yeah.
You will,
Absolutely.
you too.
You too.
Bye-bye. Wow. So JRAD just like went up 50,000 notches in my book, and they were already at the top.
Up there. Yeah. It's always been one of our favorites. It's one of the ones that we always look most forward to.
How much the same characters come up in, like, he's in everything that we love. Mm-hmm. Especially like the ones that are dear to my heart specifically. Like,
which ones are dear to your heart?
Circles and JRAD. Like, hands down. They're just like, they have good memories. They're like, I've always felt like it's always been celebratory with those, you know, that sound. That sound is, I don't know, uplifting and soul, like you can hear it with your soul, and it's different.
That's why I was saying it's like a shower.
It's different than, you know, and maybe it's like, it was like triumphant too. Like when we've come here, like those shows were, I don't know, like,
I get it.
There's certain things that are just special to you because they're special. You know, like some people are like really into frogs. Some people are no. You know, it's
that was just an odd thing to say.
Or D&D, or like some people, the stuff is their shit, right? And like they've come up at certain times in my life where it was like pinnacle moments, and so it's like an indention, and to know that about his playing, because honestly, I ignore the guitar a lot, even though I love the guitar. I'm just saying. I'm wrapping it up.
No, you don't have to wrap anything. I was just confused. How do you ignore the guitar?
Because I love to focus in, like, on Marco's keys or something, right? Like, so I like zone in on the drums for a minute, you know. And so like the guitar, I like, you know, the bass, those, but there's certain, I don't know. There's just certain things about JRAD that is like, it's easy to pay attention to the whole thing. Is what,
and you've gotten really good at it. I remember that years ago, like 4 years ago when we moved up here, you used to sit here when we were listening to music, me and Eric, you'd be like, is that the key? You used to not be able to pull the instruments out, like separate them. You were here. I remember you saying that. You like heard it as a whole. You were like, well, is that with the keyboards? That sounded like the guitar. And now she's gotten really good at that.
Dude, this morning I put on Fish this morning, Got a Jaboo for her and the baby to dance to. 2 notes. And she was like, "Oh, did you put on Got a Jaboo?" I was like, "Yeah, are you kidding me?"
The one thing I would want to say with JRAD too, it's all, and everybody's had this conversation and feels the same. Like we love Grateful Dead and Jerry and all that and everything. We love seeing our Dead and Company shows and everything. But everybody talks at JRAD, you know it's going to be up tempo through the roof. Yeah, it's going to be a heater every time, and everybody gets so excited about those shows. And then to talk to all of them, I love like with Scott, to get to hear the person, because you picture them before we like talk to Tommy and Marco. You picture them as like rock and roll maniacs almost. Like they'd be like, "Yeah, this is Scott." With JRAD, they're all so chill.
I just thought they'd be very intense.
Yeah, and they're chill. Like I said to him, they're all so respectful and humble.
So when we talked to Marco that one time, I remember I was like shocked.
He's a rad.
I was shocked.
Oh, yeah. That's a kind human being, right?
But just he had stardust. He had that star quality, for sure.
Yeah, big time.
His piercing eyes, his demeanor, his posture, his voice, his skin, and to feel that feeling, and with somebody that's on the phone, that's unusual.
Yeah, that's true.
That's unusual.
Well, there's been a few.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's just not the norm.
It's unusual.
In 161, 2 episodes, whatever, we have experienced that. Not every 160 episodes. We've had connections with everyone,
right?
But it wasn't that whole, you know. And I felt that with Scott today. I felt
like he was sitting here.
I felt like he like a halo, you know, like the little bear collage that I made you.
Yeah.
Like that bear, like behind him, I felt that with Scott. And so I don't know what that is, Scott. Your light, your energy. I'm so appreciative of you. Like, I guess I'm just feeling gratitude today. Maybe
Good.
that's why I'm loving up on you so much, Scott. But I just again in the during the course of the conversation, to hear your side of your playing, and then to remember the experiences that I've had listening to your music, it really puts together the other part of that unexplainable thing that happens during a show of live music.
Yeah.
Well, JRAD, I always say, like, thank you for the goosebumps.
Yeah.
When a band brings multiple goosebumps throughout a show.
And I think it's cool that you're a guitar nerd. You should be. You're playing your instrument. Like, why not be all about it? So
now we got to get Joe on the show.
Joe and Dan.
If you're listening, if you're listening to this,
Scott,
man,
you have some homework. If you love No Simple Road.
Oh wow.
Anyway,
I'm not the shy one, Joe.
I'm not shy either. All right, you guys, we love you, and you know what? Take care of each other this week. Reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while that you know might be having a hard time, or even doesn't
Someone
even have to
new.
be somebody that is having a good time.
Say hi. You're nice.
Reach out to each other. Take care of each other. Smile at a stranger, even though you have a mask on. You can still smile with your eyes.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week.
If you're having a hard time and you put it out there like that, like Scott did, you're going to get gratitude in return. Everybody's struggling. Don't hold that in. Share those feelings.
Yep.
Thanks for being on the show, Scott, so much.
Thanks, Scott. We'll be back next week with more stuff and things. We love you guys, and we'll see you
love
soon.
you.
Peace.
Bye.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. Shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz. And I'm Flynn McLean. Together, we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen. Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.